All right, so now for our next little piece, we're going to update our contact information page for our personal website. So when you look at it, this is part of where we left off in the last video. We've got some input boxes, your name. I can type stuff in there. I got a color picker, a submit button, a little line asking if I want to join the mailing list with a checkbox. But it's all in the same line. It's pretty, crude looking. And what we want to do is really get to that. We want to get to something where I have a contact form where someone can put their name, their email, write me a message, and then send it to me, like submit. So what we want to do is in your personal web page, okay, we're going to go into REPL. And this is where I left off last time. I'm on my contacts page, right? I've got my contact info, and then, which is why, all my contact stuff, and I got my email, and then, so I got all my contact stuff, email, and all that info. So in this form, one thing that is normally kind of like we don't even get that. So I got your name, and we're good right there, okay? And then input, text, and they're going to write what their name is. And then instead of a color box, now I want another text box where they can send me their email. So instead of text, I'm going to put an email type in here because that's actually going to help check that there's an email address in the box, and I'll show you that here in a bit. And we would want there to be another label saying or email. Close that label. Okay, so I got your name, text box. I've got a label asking for email, and then a box where you can write in your email. And then we're actually, for you to, someone be able to write a message, we're not going to use a label or an input or something. We're going to use something different. And this is called a text area. So text area. And text area has 3 different important attributes again. We got the name. So what is the name of all the stuff inside going to be? And then we have rows and columns. And what rows and columns do is it gives the text area the height. So I got name. This is going to be like the person's message, so we can call it message. And then the rows, a decent, good starting point is 10 and 30. But to be honest, it's not that big of a deal, and I'll show you why here in a second. And then once I am done with that opening text area tag, I can just close it. Okay. And I'll submit button. And I don't need this join the mailing list and all that. So let's take a look at what this turns out to be. Run. Refresh our page. And we have a name. We have an email. And we have this message. And the reason why I was telling you the columns and rows isn't that important is with this text box, I'm sure you've seen these before, but what a text area box does is anytime somebody on the internet needs to enter a kind of longer like paragraph message possibly, or where the messages might be different lengths, this makes a box where you can resize it. So in the lower right hand corner there's these little lines, and if you click, you can drag to resize how many rows and how many columns are in this box. Okay. So, but this is looking pretty ugly. So let's actually go back, and we want to put line breaks in so everything is on top of each other. So after the input box for their name, we're going to enter a line break. After the email box, we're going to enter a line break. And then after the text area box, another one so that the submit button is, let's see what that looks like. Cool. All right, so when I click submit, even though we haven't learned any JavaScript yet or anything like that, we still want our first website to be able to do something. Okay, so let's go over like a couple new things, and we can still give this basic HTML website a little bit of functionality. So for the action, when this form gets submitted by clicking the button, I want it to mail all of the info the person put in there to me. So we're going to use the mail to action. And then the mail to is going to be we'll do it. I'm going to write it to my address, but you would use your own personal address. Go to my school address, e.org. Okay, and then the method, what we're going to put in here is post. And what post does is it means it's going to post all of this info into an email, and it's going to mail it to whatever address comes in. Okay, so if we go to our page, say, all right, what's your name? Josh. Your email, some random email. Okay, 3, and that's it. And the cool thing with this, why we used an email input box instead of just text, is what this does is it does a little bit of what we call validation. So anytime I have an email box, it's going to check when I hit submit that there's an actual legitimate email inside of that box. So if I tried to click submit right now, a little error comes up and says, please include an @ sign, making sure that it's an email. So let's just say 123 at outlook.com. Email, hello there, information. Okay, so what it's going to do when I hit submit, remember it's going to mail that information to that email address. So let's hit submit, and I'll show you guys kind of issue that we might have. Oop. I don't know why that didn't work, so let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I got multiple emails, so what we get here is, because I called this text area box message, it's saying that message equals and then all this stuff in here. Now, if you notice that not looking so great, right? Because that's a bunch of weird, there's like plus signs and percents and numbers, and I don't know why that's all messed up. So there's actually one more thing we can do to change that. Anytime your font is messed up, there's something called encoding going to be the issue. We haven't really messed with this class at all yet, so we can go ahead and in the form tag, we can delete this class attribute. And then let's add another attribute to the very end. We're going to call it encoding type. So just like encoding in the head up here, we had the UTF-8 is the character set for encoding. For this, we're going to say that we want this encoded in plain text. Okay, plain text means just letters. That's about it. Okay, so if we do run, let's try that one more time. So let's go submit. Got to refresh. That's why. Gosh. Hello there. Exclamation. When we send that message now, because we gave it a different type of encoding, still says that the message equals, which is okay. It's saying that everything in that box is called message. So, and that looks fairly normal, right? In case you can't see that. Right? It just says hello there. It says exactly what was written in that box. So to kind of review, okay, The action attribute is whatever that when this form gets submitted, what is it actually going to do? So we said that we want it to mail all of the stuff written in there, this email address. The method is what it's going to do with that information, and it's going to post it. It's going to just put it all in like one little file. Encoding type is what the text is going to actually. And then we have our labels, and then the different ways we can input information to this form. Cool. So what I want you guys to do is on your contact page for your personal website, go ahead and go in there and do all of this stuff, and let's get a little message center that looks just like this. All right. See you guys later.